Hey everybody, welcome to HIT.OR.DIE podcast, episode 93. We're here with your hosts, HIT.OR.DIE and Chad Rothford. Just want to give a shout out to all the supporters out there. Keep going on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. You can listen to it on all your podcast platforms, and we have a YouTube channel, HIT.OR.DIE. Go watch and subscribe there. And then again, the Bland Company for our sponsorship.
Yeah, if you're looking for solar, have questions on solar, heating and air, roofing repair, all your AC heating and solar needs, check out blandcompany.com. You can reach out to Jesse Dara. That's BLAND company.com. Yeah. And I didn't get to, we got a couple guests. Yeah, I'll get to that in a second. Former Clovis West and Buchanan standouts. 2014 Funky.
Yes, sir.
Christian Funk went to Fresno City College. From there, went to Oklahoma State. And Dominic Topoozian was a 2012 grad at Buchanan, and also a city grad or a city alum, and then on to Fresno State. Thanks, guys, for hopping on with us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Before we go there, I missed this a couple weeks ago. Again, thank you everybody that listens. For 2020, and you guys can attest here, we had a bunch of different cities jump in, and I upgraded our analytics to see who listens, where they listen, and I just wanted to give a shout out to everybody that does in the top 10 from 2020.
Top
10 cities that listen to the podcast.
I don't even know this. You didn't even share.
You don't know this. I know. I was going to surprise you here.
Nice.
It was in 11th. There was a three-way tie there, just outside the top 10. Was Brentwood, Daly City, which is South San Francisco, and Kingsburg. Coming in at 10 was Dinuba, 9 Elk Grove, 8 Stockton, 7 was Los Angeles. 6 Visalia, and 5th was San Francisco. The 4th city is Madera, Sacramento 3rd, and 2nd was Clovis, and number 1 was Fresno. So thank all of you. It's pretty cool to see where people are listening from.
Sacktown, man.
Sacktown, yeah. And then also today, some sad news is we lost another Hall of Famer and legend in Hank Aaron. And Hall of Famer, 25-time All-Star, hit 305, 3,771 hits, obviously 755 home runs, World Series champ, MVP. Do you guys know if he was a first ballot Hall of Famer?
I'm sure he was. I don't know. He has to be.
I'm going to say no.
No?
But he should have been.
Okay. Dom?
I think he was.
You think he was?
I don't see how he couldn't be.
So you're going to say yeah?
Yeah, I got to go with yes.
Yeah, he was a first ballot Hall of Famer. 97.8% of the vote. So we'll see.
Again, that's how bad the voting was back then even. Should have been 100.
Yeah, absolutely. Where do you guys stand on that stuff with like Bonds and Clemens? I think Tuesday is when the results come out. Are you guys?
I'm a Dodger fan, so obviously not a huge fan of the Giants. Should he be in the Hall of Fame? It's tough because even if he had taken steroids, which he did, you still got to hit the ball. Still got it. It's not proven. Maybe, but you still got to hit the ball, which is impressive what he did. So me personally, I think he should be, just because, like I said, still got to hit the ball, and it's not easy to do that. Steroids, non-steroids. So I personally think he should be in the Hall of Fame.
Dom, were you?
Well, I am a Giants fan, but I agree with him, man. I mean, you still got to hit the ball. I still have one at bat in my mind. I don't even know how old I was. I was pretty young, but it was against Eric Gagne, and I remember he turned around 101 to the Bay, McCovey Cove.
Did you know that was a bet they had?
I saw that.
I don't know.
That game,
I've seen that,
they had a bet where Gagne had to throw only fastballs, and Bonds obviously tried to hit home run.
Well, there you go.
Who was the one in the World Series? Was it Percival?
In Anaheim.
Who did he hit that ball? Was it Percival in the World in 02? Who was the
I don't know.
closer?
It's still going. Well, Percival
Rodriguez?
It was either I think it was Percival.
Yeah. The closer for at that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that ball was absolutely always
Tim
that
Salmon
one sticks out.
Tim Salmon. But I think when you go back to Bonds with Pirates, he was still a Hall of Famer before he went to the Giants. I mean, who was it said he was a Hall of Famer in college?
Weinstein.
Yeah, he said he's a Hall of Famer at Arizona State.
You know, also this week, Don Sutton, the longtime Dodger and 300-plus game winner, Hall of Famer, also passed away. California native and played for 5 different teams, but again, just another legendary player that the baseball community lost, and they will definitely be missed throughout the baseball world. And again, 2 fantastic, no doubt, Hall of Famers. You know, I wanted to kind of talk about both your high school days. The track was insane. You were part of a national championship team, Dom, and you had been involved with, you know, some pretty good teams at Clovis West at the time. Just, you know, we'll start with you, Dom. How competitive it was when you were there, you know, Coach Donald's staff, and just how you guys worked, and then obviously winning a national title and taking over kind of as the leader in 2012.
Yeah, man. We had a group of grinders that year, 2011. A lot of senior leadership. I think we had about 13 seniors that year, all the way from Christian Parra, Austin Kemp, Seth Miranda, Jeff Brown, Jordan Luplo. Who else am I missing? Shota Rungi. I mean, all those guys, man. Jason Gonzalez. I'm sure I'm missing a couple, but every single guy contributed. There was kids, you know, up and down the lineup that probably weren't even going to play much, like maybe 0, you know, but they came to the field every day with a good attitude, and they just wanted to help the team win. Whether you were a bullpen catcher or, you know, you had to shag baseballs all day and, you know, whatever, be on bucket duty. I think everyone had a good attitude, and that's what made us so good.
And then you guys also, I mean, you come after 12, I think 13 was your junior year. Yeah. What was it like just seeing that program coming in and at that time kind of as a powerhouse?
Yeah, so that 12 team was ridiculous. Every position had guys that could play at the next level. And then my 13 year, we knew there was a lot of spots to fill, so I knew I had a good chance of playing. But we had some big name guys, Marco Pierce, Joey Gallegos, all those guys were good. But we always played with a little chip on our shoulder. I thought we were a good team. So, yeah.
Yeah, you guys were a good club. That was a fun team. But I got to say, both years I was there, the kids were fantastic. Our staff was fantastic. It's a tough league. Yeah. You know, I mean, talk about, you know, if they did it this year where it was like JUCO or even at Fresno State where you had to play a track team Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, or Tuesday, Friday, Saturday, I mean, and play the team the same week, right? Because I think it's alternate, right? You guys, or the first round of league is you play everybody once and then back-to-back the following, or the second round. Just talk about the league matchups for those that don't get to see track games all the time.
I mean, you go out to a track game on Friday night, the atmosphere is ridiculous. Honestly, probably one of the best high school baseball in the country, I'd have to say. Just the atmosphere, the players that are playing. Every team had at least one dude that was just exciting to watch. Bunch of scouts in the stands, and it was so much fun. It was just a great experience.
And then, I mean, you guys obviously dominate. I think, was it 30-1 your junior year?
Was that a pun?
30-2.
30-2. My bad.
Pun intended.
My bad.
Dom.
Yeah, we actually lost the first game of the year, and that was a little shocker. And then actually a 10-inning matchup against Clovis West, they got us. I think, was it Nick McAllister? Hit a 2-run homer in the 10th or something like that. Can't forget that one. So,
and then, so, I mean, obviously you guys don't mind sitting next to each other, but what is that? What are those games like? Even after, right? Buchanan gets the best of C-Dub, or C-Dub gets the best of Buchanan. You know, what is it? What is the talk during the week? 'Cause, I mean, some of the guys are still friends. I don't know if you guys ever hung out during the week, but
well, I'll never forget my game against Buchanan. I don't like to talk about myself much, but it was a Friday night game, a bunch of people in the stands, and it was tied going in the 7th inning. I hit a go-ahead home run in the 7th, and then it came in and closed the game out against Buchanan, and man, that was an amazing feeling because it's very rare we beat them. So when we do, it was awesome. So that's my experience with Buchanan.
You closed it out. You pitched.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Before Tommy John?
Yeah.
I think that's most people's. I used to, and I'll be the first to admit it. I would always, if Buchanan lost, it was a good season. It was a good year. Considering how many Buchanan guys we've had on, I think it's safe for me to say that now. And what did I say walking in the door? What did I say, Chad?
I don't know because I thought.
You want me to
Funky-
say it?
Well, I thought Funky walked through the door.
Okay,
first.
that's right. Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
I was putting stuff together.
I didn't. I just not that I didn't like you. I didn't. I did not like you on the field. He had this level of swag to him and like
Cocky confidence.
yeah, but he backed it up. Yeah, he backed it up. He won games. He was their guy. And I think maybe in 11 when you probably weren't anticipated on being the guy you were, and I hated that about him. and he won. You know, it's like, oh damn.
That's Buchanan though.
That is. I mean, talk about that too. Is that something preached? Like,
To be honest, people have always mentioned it that I've had that kind of, I guess, demeanor out there. I don't really know. I guess it just happened from a young age. Something I was, I guess, born with. I don't know. Maybe because I grew up with 4 older brothers. I don't know.
Does it help like going through Buchanan's the program and like everybody before you kind of take that with you, kind of that swag? I mean, because it seems like Buchanan, it keeps just coming down, you know?
Yeah, I think, Tom Donald, who was my coach at the time, he's really big on the senior leadership. And so my first year there as a junior, 13 seniors. And so, Christian Parra, he was probably our main leader on that team. And he actually got the award named after him. I think there's like a Christian Parra MVP or something like that. And ever since the 2011 year, I mean, he was unbelievable leader on that squad. But I think the senior leadership is something that is preached there pretty big.
you're coaching a little bit now, right? You're on Buchanan's staff, and you've worked with some kids since you've been back. Yeah. Do you guys see a massive shift or kind of a difference between even 5, 6, 7 years ago from when you guys played to now?
One thing I've noticed, and this might hurt some people's feelings, but kids these days they're soft. They're getting soft. Like, I think their parents are just like telling them all this, like, you're so good, blah, 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 but like back when I was playing, if I didn't do something good, someone told me, that wasn't good. Do this, do that. And now I don't think they're getting told that as much. And so that's my stand on it. Other people might not agree with it, but that's just me.
I've seen it kind of become that way a little bit more, maybe just more PC.
Yeah.
More politically correct and don't want to hurt anybody's feelings.
Right.
And Chad knows a little bit.
I'm just smiling because I love that.
Yeah. Well, and I think more even in that too, it's even how kids practice.
Oh yeah.
How they play. I've blown away, even within our own program in recent years, of asking guys, did they watch this game? Did they watch? And I don't watch baseball. Were you an avid baseball? I mean, you're both, Dodger Giants fan. Were you guys try to watch as many games as possible?
Of course. Yeah, I'd say so.
What about you? You see any? I mean, you're on the staff at Buchanan and also given a lot of lessons. I mean, what's the one thing you see, especially now when you're working with younger kids?
Especially younger kids. I'd say 10, 11, 12 years old. I'll usually ask them what their goals are, kind of what they want to do, and obviously they all want to make it to the big leagues. But there's usually 3 things I kind of mention, especially for pitchers. So whether it be having command, velocity, or movement, and I ask them what's in the order of importance, what should those be in? And the first thing they say is velocity, 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 right? And I think that's kind of how the game is now. I mean, obviously velocity is very important, but I don't think it's number one. Obviously guys that have high velocity can make more mistakes. That's what it comes down to. Guys with lower velocities, you know, you got to hit the corners. You got to have some good movement, throw strikes. You know, everyone's different. Kyle Hendricks on the Cubs. That's a good example there. But I think velocity and the whole travel ball, year-round, daddy ball, whatever you want to call it, right? I think that's kind of getting in kids' heads. And especially when you got kids that maybe have never played a varsity inning, getting signed to 4-year colleges, and then you got the rest of the players on the team or whatever being like, what the heck? What do I got to do? And this and that. And then it becomes, I think, kind of selfish, and everybody's just trying to go out there and get theirs, you know, instead of maybe back when I was playing. I mean, shoot, I don't remember there being that many kids signing that early and all that. You know, everyone was just trying to go out there and win and compete.
Pull that a little closer. So saying that, was that your focus when you were playing in high school? Were either of you guys focused on,
like, I have to go D1?
Yeah, I have to go Division I, or my travel ball? That it was like,
or did you want to win for Buchanan and Clovis West? Like,
yeah, I never even really thought about the whole scouting process and getting seen or whatever. I did 2 showcases I got invited to. That was it. The North-South and the area code. That's it. And I mean, I wasn't looking for scouts in the stands. I wasn't reaching out to college coaches, whatever. I was just playing the game of baseball. And my dad always told me, if you're good enough, they'll find you. You don't need to go do a bunch of extra stuff to get seen. So that was my my philosophy on that.
Having played in a very like baseball conference, do you still believe that?
Yes.
Coming from, I mean, were you recruited out of high school at all?
You know, I didn't have great grades, so I never personally talked to the coaches. KP said there were some coaches contacting him, but as soon as those transcripts went out, I didn't hear back from any of them.
Is that maybe well, I don't want to say regret, but something you'd go back or even tell kids today, like, that's got to be Hero versus, you know, where you want to go play baseball?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, you can't go anywhere without school.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't talked to one college coach that's one of the first things that, you know, even, you know, Stanford, obviously, but even, you know, the other schools in Fullerton and Vanderhook, and it's like, well, I mean, if the grades don't show, I mean, they're not going to put the work in here, you know. I mean, what about you, Dom, recruiting-wise?
Well, again, I didn't play 4 years prior to my junior year at Buchanan due to a snowboarding injury, but so my main goal was just to make the team, really. And then injuries happened, and I was the next guy in line for that to, you know, pitch. And so for me, again, I think it was just really going out there and executing pitches that my pitching coach called John Gross. I tried to, you know, even back then, I don't think I was really necessarily in tune with what's going on in the game. Like, for example, if I had first and third, no outs, I wasn't thinking like strikeout or I need to get a ground ball double play. I literally would just think pitch to pitch and just executing whatever was called. And I think that allowed me to have the success that I did. Obviously now it's a little different, but thinking I had to go Division I or bust, I guess, if you will, I don't think that was really a thought in my head. But looking at it now, I think really the only difference from a JUCO player to a Division I player is usually grades, right? That's what I would say, because there's a lot of good JUCO players for sure.
I like too what you mentioned with, and like a lot of people think that we knock travel ball so much, and that's not totally the case. There are good things with travel ball. You get your reps in, you know, you need extra ground balls hitting. But I think a lot of the travel ball has brought that mindset, like you talked about, was it's about me. It's about what I'm trying to accomplish, rather than when you're in the high school setting, it's not about me. It's about us trying to win a track title or a Valley champion or section title. And so I think that's hurt the generation also. It's travel ball, not of getting the reps in, but it's more about a me thing. And it's not about team. Like a travel ball is good if it's about a team and you're trying to get them better and work harder. But when you have high school kids that will listen to their travel ball coaches over their high school coaches, I think we have an issue then with that. So
I agree. Mm-hmm. You know, I had this conversation with a head coach, high school head coach in the Valley, and we were talking about travel ball. And one thing we talked about was right now that's kind of the only option or opportunity kids have. There's nothing. We can't play at high school. I can't even walk into our facility right now. I'll get kicked out. Maybe instead of playing tournaments with a limited group of kids, if these travel ball groups have access to facilities, have access to fields, have access to cages, why not invite more kids and squad and not charging you? Just, hey, let's get your buddies. Let's get 30 kids. Let's all these travel organizations come together, and because not every kid can afford to play travel ball. You know, and this particular coach I talked to, he's got some kids that can't. They rely on the school program to play. You know, so maybe instead of, skip a tournament, we don't even know if we're playing this year.
Well, what are you getting seen at with tournaments? They don't even know the recruiting calendar. We've talked about that. No Division I schools have been able to go watch anybody since April of last year. So if you're D1 or bust, that's another reason why. How are these guys committing to these D1 schools when you can't even get seen by them? Like, I mean, I get social media is the outlet, but it's just like, if it's for the kids, like these travel ball teams want to say, it's for the kids, the money doesn't matter, we'll approve it. Stop charging people for a tryout. You really need to charge people just to come try out for your organization? Like, that's just a bunch of BS to me. Like, get as many people that want to try out and see what's there, and almost try to make it like a nonprofit. And that's where people get mad at me, because I say it's about the money, and they're like, oh, it's not about the money. Well, it is about the money, because you're making money while all these high school programs can't do anything. And that's all you care about. So,
I mean, at the very least, I can understand, having to pay a park, the fee to even use a facility.
Yeah.
Or insurance or whatever the case may be. I mean, that I get, right? But invite more kids. Make it more inclusive. That's all. I mean, that's. I would have a lot more respect for some of the organizations or programs that do that. Mm-hmm. If that's the goal, let's open it up some more. At least for now. And the times we're in now, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah. And you're not making it about me. It is about the guys. Let's get them better. Let's get them work. Let's, have some fun, like baseball's supposed to be. Like, it used to be fun. Now it seems like it's a job when you're in freaking high school. Like, I couldn't imagine, you guys both played Division I baseball. Like, then you go into like summer ball, and like, you need a break, man. Like, I couldn't imagine playing year round in high school. Like, and then you get to college where it is almost year round pretty much. And then pro ball, it's even worse. Like, you're going to burn yourself out at freaking 12, 13, 14, 15. Have some fun. Be a kid. Go play. Do something.
Or play another sport.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So ultimately, you both end up at Fresno City. Were you guys there at all at the same time? I think you're a couple years older. Talk about, we'll go here with the Funky, your experience at City and with Coach Scott.
Man, I don't even know where to start.
Well, you were there for like 8 years.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, 2 ACL surgeries.
Yeah.
And, I mean.
Yeah. Honest, I could tell you it's probably the best thing that could happen to me. Say I get drafted, say I go D1. Me personally, I don't think I was ready for either of those levels. Maybe like talent-wise, maybe. But like maturity, I don't think I could have done that. And so going to City gave me an opportunity to mature myself. And then the coaching staff there, that's where you find the love of baseball again. They let you play. They know these kids come from all over the place. Some come from nothing, some come from a lot, And the coaching staff, they just let you play. And, like, you find the love for the game of baseball again, which I preach that about Fresno City. They do an awesome job about that. It's stress free. You're not worried about anything. You're just playing the game of baseball, which I really appreciated a lot.
Do you have a memory or anything specific that stands out from Coach Scott, whether it be a practice or a game moment? Did you ever go to the mound visits
for the show
with Solberg? I mean, I've heard some legendary stuff with both Sully and Ron on their mound visits, but anything in particular? And you got to answer this too.
I got you.
I personally, not one that comes to my mind. I can't think of one right now.
To anybody else, another player, maybe? No? Mm-mm. Did you guys ever get blown up? I've heard a couple teams recently have just gotten blown up?
We lost one fall game to the Marlin Scout team. It was like it was a doubleheader. Like we had just played 9 innings. It's hot, and we lose the second one, and he just blows up on us, and we're just like, "You're kidding me!" Like we just played 9 innings, but we had to run for a while, and that was not fun.
Dom, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, I love those guys, man. Ron Scott, Eric Solberg, Coach G, Coach Selma, all those guys, man. But I think Coach Scott and Coach Solberg, those are two of the funniest guys I ever met in my life. I mean, there's tons of things I could say, but one sticks out to me when I was pitching. I was like pitching great that game, and he came out to the mound, Coach Solberg. It was like the 7th or 8th inning, and he just walks up there and he just goes, "So, are you getting a chili dog or corn dog after the game or something like that?" And then just like I was like, "What?" And then he's like, "What are you getting?" And then I was like, "I don't know." He's like, "All right, cool. Talk to you later." And then he left.
I mean, you coached her for a little bit, Chad. Are they in there like, go out there? I dare you to go out there and do that. Something random.
No, they aren't.
It's all calculated, yeah?
I was there in 11. I was kind of like the grad assistant or whatever, the volunteer with Underwood. And being in the dugout, that's just how they are. Like, it just comes to them, like right when they're doing it or when it happens. Like, there's no planning. It's just their dry sense of humor. It's just boom. I mean, it could be like a 9th inning, bases loaded, 2 outs, full count, and he'd come out and probably asking the same thing. You know what I mean? It's like, because he's thinking your butthole's puckered. He's gonna loosen up a little bit, and you're gonna strike the guy out. But no, that's just how they are.
I mean, did you have any idea where you're going to end up out of City?
No, I had no idea.
Was the goal to continue to play after City?
Yeah, I definitely wanted to play, but I really had no idea. Solberg always told me, he was like, if you could get your schooling done, you can go anywhere in the country. And so I just hammered out school there, and then yeah, so that's pretty much it. I wanted to play after. I had no idea where or what conference, anything like that.
And so our recent guest was Chad's former coach and the pitching coach at Oklahoma State, Rob Walton. What was it that drew you to Oklahoma? Did you go on a visit?
No, never went on a visit.
And you were being recruited by other schools, right? I mean, you had some fairly big schools on you.
Mm-hmm.
What was the reason just to go to Oklahoma State?
I don't really know, because I didn't go on a visit anywhere. So I just kind of winged it. I knew Oklahoma State obviously has a great baseball program, but the way Rob recruited me when he came and watched me, I knew that he really wanted me, and so I felt really wanted by them. So that's what drew me to go there.
And just getting away from California too, right?
Yes, that was a goal of mine. I wanted to leave California, so that was good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
And Mr. Topoozian, going into Fresno State, was that the goal too? Just any D1, or was there other D1s in?
I heard you had a good offer from Long Beach State.
I heard the same thing.
Yeah. Well, unlike him, I actually wanted to stay in California because I'm more of a. I don't know. I just love Fresno. I love Clovis. I love the community, Buchanan, Fresno City, Fresno State. I love it, man. And it's when I was at Buchanan, I could have gone to Fresno State out of high school. I remember specifically, Cody Batesel and Corby Batesel, they were both my teammates as well at Buchanan. So Coach Batesel would sometimes come to our practices and just hang out, watch, and whenever he could. Obviously, he was, interested in me at the time, but one of his main concerns was probably my, maturity level. I remember talking to him on the phone, and he said that on game days, I'm A+. Like, when I go out there and I'm competing, I'm A+, but he was more so concerned about what I was doing in between my starts or at practice and how I'm focusing and working in between. And so I think going to Fresno City was help with that, my maturity. And then obviously I ended up going there. But I think Fresno City did a lot for me. I was always thinking like, if I go to Fresno City, I could maybe get drafted or picked up after my first year or two, of course, right? But I ended up with 102 innings my freshman year and then 96 or something my second year. So that's a ton of experience I was able to have underneath my belt. Maybe if I went to Fresno State, it would have been good to be around like the guys 3 or 4 years older than me and kind of learn that way, and pitch maybe 15, 20 innings or something like that. You know what I mean? So, I would never take anything back. I'm glad I went to Fresno City, developed a little bit, matured, and then moved on.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing is when you talk to somebody that went. We haven't really talked to somebody that went straight to a 4-year, like maturity wise, but I remember Jason Donald. He was just different though. He was just a different animal. But I was the same way. The city route, JUCO route, you grow up. You still play college baseball, and you actually get to play. Like we were talking before, you don't see freshmen going to D1 and starting right away unless you're an absolute dude, which would mean you're a top 5 rounder out of high school or, that kind of thing. So I think you guys are very, advocates for the JUCO route. We know I am, obviously. And I think that needs to come back because all these people out there are like D1 or bust. And then if it's not D1, then I need to go to a 4-year. I need to get a scholarship. Like that's kind of the thing now. And it's like, well, yeah, a scholarship gets you in the door for school and it might get your school paid for right now. But you guys also got your school paid for after going to a junior college. And junior college isn't expensive. People don't understand. It's not like you're paying an arm and leg to go to junior college and you're still taking your GED, which is what you do your first 2 years at a 4-year anyways. So it's just.
Well, and I think Coach Solberg kind of nailed it in his, when we talked to him, junior college this is a form of scholarship. Mm-hmm. Just the cost differential between that and going to Fresno State is big. And I also think with, talking maturity, and even with you, if I would have continued to play, my best option was JUCO and probably nothing beyond that. So, but it's on you. The responsibility is now on you to go to class, to, keep your grades up, to get the homework done, to be at practice on time. Whereas at Buchanan or Clovis West, you're on campus. If you're the dude, you might get away with a little more. Where in college, the professors don't care who you are, typically. It's whatever. Unless you're, a Heisman Trophy guy at some big, Power 5 school maybe. But I think it's different. I think and I love that, and I've heard that from all the JUCO guys we talked to that, they weren't ready. Maybe they mentally wanted to go and do that and be D1 out of high school, but they weren't ready. And again, you thought Jason, he was a different guy.
He was different. He was like that in high school though. Like he was work. You didn't see that. Like I talked about in the city county game, the dude took like 2 hours of ground balls. It's like, bro, it's a city county game. We're all just having fun over here. And he's out there sweating through three shirts. But that's him. That's why he was ready for that next level. Us three were probably just having fun at the city county game, right? Yeah.
I can actually now saying that.
You were.
I got to coach both of you. One for a game and like 3 practices, and your junior year. But so you both get to D1s, and Dom, talk about from city right into Fresno State. Maybe some of the glaring differences you noticed.
Yeah, it's definitely a big difference for sure, especially Mike Bates will be your coach. I think if you can play for him, you can play for anybody. But he definitely takes grades. Grades are number one, right? Rings and degrees, right? I think that's one of his sayings there. And it's like you got to do well in the classroom. I think, as you kind of mentioned a little bit, teachers don't really care who you are, and they suggest that all of us baseball players should be sitting front row in our classrooms and taking notes and paying attention, because when we got to travel during the year, we're going to be missing a lot of class. So we want the teacher should know us by our first and last name, you know what I mean? And so getting in good that way, and, study hall hours. There's no study hall at Fresno City College, you know what I mean? So, and then just, you're pretty much at the field all day. You go to class in the morning, you're at the field maybe 12:30, go get lunch, hang out in the clubhouse, get ready, practice at, 2:33. And sometimes during the year when we're scrimmaging and throwing bullpens and practicing full practice, we're there till, 7, 8 o'clock at night, it seems like. So we're there all the time, man. It's not like a 2-hour practice or whatever at Fresno City College. It's almost like a job.
You noticed the same thing when you got out to Oklahoma State?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole different ball game out there. I mean, you just wake up at 6 in the morning, go lift, shower, get to class, grab a bite to eat, go to the field, you're home. We have mandatory dinner too. And so you got to mix in homework.
That's that Power 5 school.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then, I mean, I'm getting home probably around 9, and then that's it. And it just repeats all over again.
So, I mean, what are you laughing about?
No, just those big schools get all the good stuff, man. They don't have to. They don't have to eat
the nightly dinners.
Eat in the shitty cafeteria. And try to race before the cafeteria gets closed, and eat with the normal students.
And talk about too, like, and again, I didn't get to experience it. So, for kids that are looking to go Division I, or even these younger kids that are, there's a lot of kids that have committed to a couple guys to state and all over the country, really. The bonds that you create, you talk about what your schedule was. I'm sure the majority for both of you was with your teammates.
Yeah.
Talk about just being with your guys all day.
I mean, so I came in not knowing a single guy. I'm like one of the only guys from California. Never heard of any of these guys, nothing. And then we go on like this retreat, and that's where you start learning about the guys. And I mean, you're with them every day. So by the end of the year, they legit become your brothers, like, because you're around them every single day. You know everybody, you know what they're like, what they don't like. And which it sucks for me because I never get to see them. It's literally a part of me left there because how close we became with each other. And so it's just a bond that it's unexplainable. It's amazing. It really is.
And you two, I mean, it's not out. You're from Buchanan. You go to, you're local, but yeah, you're also meeting a bunch of new guys.
Yeah, that's another thing. I mean, I've always wanted to be a Bulldog ever since I was little, especially in 2008, right after the national championship. Right. I live probably a mile within the school, and it's like, that's one reason. Like, I can go back to Fresno State or Fresno City, Buchanan anytime I want. And that's something that's, I'm privileged to be able to do that. And obviously he can't fly to Oklahoma whenever he wants, right? So I don't know. It's very cool, man. It's just, I can't explain it. I'm very fortunate to be able to play for the hometown teams, especially at a high level. And
well, like talking with Chad about it, and so you guys could answer this too, is he talks to probably more guys he played with in college than he played with in high school.
Oh, 100%.
I mean, do you kind of find that common, or is that something ring true for you guys?
I don't talk to a single person from my high school, to be quite honest with you.
And I'm not saying for any specific reason.
No, I just don't. It's not that I didn't like them or anything. It's just, they weren't interested in things I'm interested in and that kind of stuff. But I talk to my boys from Oklahoma just about every day, whether it's through video games or texting or whatever. I talk to them every day.
And you got to play in some pretty big games in the last couple of years. Mm-hmm. You had a 3 home run game, didn't you? You don't like to talk about yourself.
Yeah.
Talk about that day. How just a different feeling that day, seeing the ball different that day.
That whole weekend, actually. That weekend.
That's true.
Crazy.
That's right. It was. That was a good weekend.
For the record, next weekend I didn't get a single hit, but yeah, that weekend against Kansas was crazy. I think I hit 5 home runs that weekend, something like that. And then 3 in a game, which I didn't even know, but it's a school record at Oklahoma State, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, I mean, it was unbelievable.
And that's crazy to me that Pete Incaviglia didn't do that.
Yeah, in a weekend. Yeah, that's right.
I mean, he hit 48 home runs.
Yeah, he did.
But never 3 in one game.
Yeah, pretty nuts. But also going to Texas Tech, I know that's not obviously how you want to finish your career, but just that experience. I mean, that series came down to the last couple innings, and you guys went extras, right?
No, not extras. But every game was within 1 run. That was just an absolute dogfight, just back and forth every inning. And the atmosphere was just crazy, so loud because the fans there are just right on top of you and it was sell out. So there's probably about 2,000 plus. And man, I wish I could go back to it. Even though we lost, that series was just incredible, unbelievable.
Yeah, I think there was a couple moments in there like, Texas Tech took the lead, and then you guys come up, hit big home run and tied the game, and then took the lead, and it came down to towards the end of the game. I just remember watching that, and for Dom, what was probably one of the biggest games you got to pitch in or be a part of, anyways. I mean, did you guys win a WAC or Mountain West? Yeah, you won a Mountain West championship, didn't you?
In 2016. But I actually got the privilege to pitch the winner-take-all game in 2017, my senior year. And that was a tough one, man. A heartbreaker for sure. We lost actually the first game of the tournament. New Mexico hosted it. We played San Diego State to open it up. And our ace, one of my good buddies, one of my best friends, Ricky Tyler Thomas, he didn't have his best stuff that game. And I think we were down probably 10 runs at one point. I came in, bases loaded, tried to just kind of put out the fire a little bit. But, it's double elimination. So we ended up losing the first game, started clawing our way back out. Started 10-run rule teams ourselves. And, anything can happen in that high altitude in New Mexico. So the bats were alive. Then we ended up getting to the championship round against San Diego State again. And now we have to beat them twice because they're undefeated so far. And the first game, we 10-run ruled them, smoked them. We only played 7 innings because that's like the tournament format if you 10-run rule. So next game, I got the call, and I was pitching well. I think it was 3-2 when I left the game, in the 5 2/3 or something like that. And Ryan Jensen, first round pick, he came in, got the last out of that 6th inning, and then our best reliever, who's now with the Padres, Fred Schlichtols, he was in there shutting it down. And we still had a 1-run lead in about the 8th inning, I think it was. And 13 pitch at bat, guy pops it up to right field, shallow right field, and our right fielder and second baseman kind of lose it in the sun. And then the guy comes around and scores. Next guy hits a dribbler through the 6th hole. They take the lead by 1, and we ended up not scoring in the bottom half. So it was tough.
Isn't that how it happens too?
It's baseball, man.
Mm-hmm. It's like look at Arkansas and Oregon State a couple years ago in the World Series.
Yeah,
a foul ball that should have been an out, would have won Arkansas the whole thing.
Well, our final game at Texas Tech, when that guy hit the home run to take the lead in the 8th inning, the guy had maybe 60 at-bats all year, hardly ever played. Just flicks one out, oppo gap to take the lead. And, I mean, like you said, it's crazy how baseball happens.
That's right. It was the oppo gap. I remember that. I watched that game. But I mean, just again, those moments, right? And so even today, like you guys go back to those and use them for other, areas of your life.
Yeah, I'd say so. Just looking back, because it wasn't easy especially for me going D1, having 2 torn ACLs. And I look back at that and just like, man, I wouldn't change a thing. Even through the.
Were you close to like calling it?
Done? Yeah. After my second one, I hadn't heard from Oklahoma State. And then I talked to Ron Scott, and he's like, man, it's not looking good. Like, I haven't heard from them, heard nothing. And so I'm looking at San Francisco State, Sonoma, and all that stuff. And I'm just like, man, I've got 2 bum knees. There was a point where it's like, I don't, what's the point, And then Easter Sunday comes around, and I get a call from Rob. He's like, hey, we still want you to come. We're not going to be able to have the money for you because I'm a liability. They don't know if I'm going to play or not. But he was like, we'd still love you to come and, pretty much try out for the team. And, that was just such a big risk for me. I had no idea. I'm going in there not knowing a single guy, and I don't even know if I'm going to make the team, So the journey was just crazy, really crazy.
Yeah, but I think that just the fact that you got out there probably told them, one thing is, well, he's here. Maybe almost like a test kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I would have been okay not even playing an inning. Just the fact that I was there and I did it, and that was enough for me. I was very fortunate to play both years, almost every game.
Thinking about, too, the draft, you guys, neither you go drafted. Were there any, talk within your senior years or ideas of possibly being drafted?
After my junior year and going into my senior year, I had quite a few. We had scout meetings where scouts come in, have meetings with us. I had quite a few of those. I don't know if they meant much, but other than that, not really. I didn't really talk to much of anybody.
What about you, Dom? Any idea, any thoughts about getting there, or was there a chance to get there, or anybody talk to you about it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so after my junior year, I think I only had like 25, 30 innings my junior year. And so I was sent to the West Coast League to play for the Victoria Harbor Cats. And I think I ended up with about 75 innings in like a 2 or 3 month span, which is a ton. And I think I had the most innings in the whole league, and my team didn't even make playoffs. So it was a ton. And so, I came back, took a month off, started throwing in the fall again. And, my elbow wasn't really feeling too great. I didn't really feel like I had that life on my fastball, and it just didn't feel right. And usually that pain or whatever I feel usually goes away. And, I got an MRI and I had a 40% tear of my UCL. So I ended up having Tommy John surgery. And a week prior to that, I had the Oakland A's kind of contact me, and I was talking with them a little bit. And then obviously I had surgery, so I sat out. But coming back in 2017, off Tommy John, I started out as a reliever, obviously, because my innings, right? So first game of the season, or I think it was second game against Oregon, I came in first outing off Tommy John. I struck out the side, and so obviously that kind of, they had a few scouts there, and so Tampa Bay Rays was another big one. They were in contact with me throughout the year, but just it didn't end up working out. When the draft was going on, they talked about maybe a free agent signing, but you know how it is. I'm right-handed and throw 90, so that's a dime a dozen nowadays.
Yeah, because, like from a guy that didn't play, didn't pursue it, and I regret it, honestly. And that's kind of why we've talked about this whole podcast started. Hearing, and even Chad's story, like, you guys all had to overcome some stuff, and I just, it's kind of why I wanted you guys, we've talked about having you guys on, and because of the surgeries, because of the things you've had to overcome, the arm issues, or if you ever felt overlooked, and going the JUCO route, having to fight your way to D1, having to fight your, going to not even know if you're going to make the team. I think there's too many lessons for kids, if they listen to this, and I hope some kids listen to this, for them not to take going forward, and even what to expect or anticipate getting, to college. And you guys put all this work in and all the time, and the draft comes, and the ultimate goal is to get drafted and play professionally, and it doesn't happen, right? And it's still like, I can hear you guys talk, and it's like, there's no regret, right? The love for the game is even still there. You're still trying to get healthy. You're still working with kids and doing stuff for baseball. It's impressive to me. I kind of applaud it. And, I don't know what my point is ultimately, but I just want kids to kind of hear that stuff. I think, especially locally, because there's guys like Scott Silva's another guy that I felt had a great career, and he had to overcome maybe some injuries, even people that might not even known some of the injuries he had. To not get drafted kind of surprised me. Hayden Hinkle's another kid that I had that was one of the top 5 in the nation in ERA in college in Division I, and pitched in a regional, and he didn't even get a look. It's just kind of weird on how it happens, but none of it's affected any of the guys, and you've continued to move forward. And I guess, it goes back to the question earlier, like, even now in your lives, you guys have those moments to go back to, and you just develop some toughness. I just appreciate that, and again, that's why I regret not pushing myself to go do that. And I would encourage kids to find a guy like Dom. And if you're a kid that's working with Dom pitching wise, seek that advice. Do you guys still go back? Like, how often do you talk to Coach Holiday?
Whenever I go there, I know he's busy, but like whenever I'm in Stillwater, he greets me with open arms, awesome. Like when I go back there, I'm part of a family. Like, that's what it is. That's what they preach on. And I just feel very welcomed. But like, we obviously won't talk every day, but every once in a while we'll like shoot a text, stuff like that. But like I said, from the guys I played with, I talk to them almost every day.
I mean, same for you too. I mean, you guys could probably you still talk to Coach Scott if you needed to. Mm-hmm. If you needed anything or advice, you could still go to them.
Yeah, I talked to Coach Scott Not as much as I used to, but Walton too. I'll text him just out of the blue. I talked to Fulmer the other day. He was our hitting coach when I was there. But I talked to all my college guys a lot more, you know. But we were more spread out. We had a lot more California guys too. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's a different animal, the college stuff, and I feel bad for them though because I was a late draft pick, and I feel like these teams draft guys knowing they're not going to sign when they could take a chance on a senior. And like I said this too when Funky didn't get drafted. I was like, dude, he'll go for a plane ticket. I know you would do the same thing. You would go for a plane ticket. Just,
High five.
Just get me on. Yeah,
just give me an opportunity.
Or I'll drive there and just get a guy an opportunity to go. It's not going to cost you anything. Just let him try out. Or I think maybe MLB might need to do that more too, is have like open tryouts for teams where guys can go work out for them and, get picked up that way. There's so many different, avenues that can help out because the draft is just becoming more of a joke, I think.
Yeah. When you're seeing guys like Johnny Manziel getting drafted, and
yeah.
just like, he's not going to sign.
King Griffey Jr. is my favorite player, but his son got drafted and he didn't play baseball. He was a wide receiver. Like, come on. And he was picked in the 24th round because it was his number. And it's like, I was picked in the 42nd. Like, come on, bro. Like, it's like, you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like disrespectful to the guys that work their asses off to get to that point, and then you draft guys for no reason.
Yeah, it seems like there's this politics and everything. I mean, I remember seeing kids get drafted, and I'm going doing research, and it's like, the dude had like 60 at-bats. All year. How do you draft a guy in the?
Because he hit an Oppo Taco against Oklahoma State,
or maybe his dad's connected. Yeah. I mean, I guess that's true. But I'm just saying, maybe dad's connected. I don't know.
Yeah,
you see that a lot.
And that's another thing that's not really known growing up. You just think baseball's fun. I'm going to play baseball. I'm going to go to college. I'm going to go do this. Get to pro ball, and then when you get to pro ball, you're like, oh, there's this many levels. Like, it's not. It's the only sport where you go and there's another. Stairs to go to get there. It's ridiculous, and you don't get that growing up until you're in it. And even these guys playing indie ball, they understand it too. That's another stepping stone. And you said it perfect with independent ball. It's like you're taking it as it's almost like junior college. It's like that step right before Division I to get to an affiliated team. So I don't know. I know you guys are. I know I was bummed when you guys didn't get drafted because I understand the fight that it takes to get there and how gratifying it is to get drafted, but to be deserving of it and not even get that opportunity, that's what I think pisses me off the most about it,
Well, you don't let it define you either, whether you do or don't, it doesn't. And that's kind of, I guess maybe that is my point, is because we've had people on the podcast that have, Loop's in the big leagues, Walden's in the big leagues, guys like Weinstein, guys like Coach Walden and Vanderhook and Coach Savage and, Eager and Esker and all, Coach Batesel and Pat Ware. I mean, all these guys. And it's like none of it really truly defines them just because you didn't get, doesn't mean anything. I mean, you guys had success, you had good careers. I think you guys can relate even more so to younger kids than maybe Luplo can sometimes, because they don't, Loop is a workhorse, but like it's hard to get to the big leagues, and that's kind of why I just wanted you guys to come on and talk about it. The other thing too with indie ball is Chad playing affiliated baseball. Like how close, as far as obviously you're not being paid or a whole lot to do what you do. How much is it like minor league baseball?
It's like minor league baseball, but see, people get mad at me when I talk of the truth because I get that some indie ball gets you to affiliated ball. I understand that, but normally it's a pitcher. I think pitchers have the best opportunity out of indie ball to get somewhere because everybody's looking for pitchers more so than a power corner guy or. But I think being in both. And being around affiliated guys where everybody's drafted, everybody is part of that organization. It's something totally. It's almost like a brotherhood, like they're talking about being a part of like your Division I college. Like you're now a part of organization, like another program. Going to indie ball, you're just trying to fight to like get there. So to me, it's like a bunch of individuals trying to play for themselves. And guess what? You went 0 for 4 today. I'm going to freaking release you because I can. Or you had one bout. You know what? I'm going to release you today. But hey, we're going to have an open tryout in 2 days. Come back and try out. This is stuff they do in indie ball. Like they're laughing because it's true. They're laughing because it's true. And that's what makes me mad, because I always say it's like summer baseball, but you get paid, because you're even guaranteed less in indie ball than you are in affiliated. Like you really, like Dom can't go out and have a bad outing because he really might get released the next day or 0 for 4. It happens. So I just think it's so hard to go to indie ball and get to affiliated. It is. But
well, and you mentioned something, Dom, before you came on, and you could probably attest again to the same thing. You know, they're not just, you know, kids that want to keep playing baseball, playing indie ball. I mean, you have guys that were playing professionally affiliated baseball or high draft picks. You know, I mean, talk about that a little bit.
First rounders, second rounders. For example, Sean Dunston Jr. or Sean Dunston's kid, right? He was on actually our team in Gateway. I mean, I think he was a first rounder, or second rounder, third rounder. I don't know. Signed for a few $1 million, and he was in the minor league system for a handful of years. But I mean, we get guys like that. We had Gunnar Buhner. He was what's his name? Buhner for the
Jay
Buhner. His son was on our team. He actually came and watched a few games last year or 2 years ago. But I mean, there's a lot of good players for sure, and everyone's fighting, you know, and it's tough. Again, everyone always needs pitchers, but I mean, if you're going to be a position player, I mean, you got to hit. You got to hit, man.
Yeah, I mean, Brink's a guy, right?
Brink was in that same league as well.
But Brink throws 98.
I'm just saying he came, you know,
I'm not taking anything away from Brink,
and then
it's a lot easier to get picked. And it took him a while, but you know, when you throw 98 with a 90-mile-an-hour slider, I mean, somebody's going to take a chance on you more so than 90 with a legit changeup.
That's how my cousin was, Tyler Ferguson.
Yeah,
he was in Canada, and he's been in and out of affiliated ball. So if you throw 98, man, shoot.
Love that guy.
I mean, you have to put in perspective too. You have like 150 guys in an organization, give or take. I'm not sure on the number, but in one organization. So you have 30? How many teams in the MLB?
30.
You have 30 times 150. So all those guys are affiliated. Then you have all these other independent organizations and teams. So they have to worry about 6 teams in an organization. Now they got to worry about each indie team and how they're going to pick guys. That's why I'm saying indie ball is so hard to get back to affiliated or to get there if you've never been, because it's almost like you take 2 steps forward, D1, and you take a step back if you don't get drafted. And that's why it frustrates me with guys that should get drafted that don't.
Yeah.
Because they're not given the opportunity, and now you're sending them somewhere because they love the game and want to still play for nothing, which it's worse money than even in the minors. And the chances are limited to almost none. It's ridiculous. And that's why the game needs to change. The draft needs to change. They need to give more senior signees opportunities because it doesn't cost them anything. But you're going to go sign a 14-year-old Latin kid. Not saying that the Latino kids aren't good because they're freaking something different, but the fact that you can go sign a 14-year-old kid internationally and you have to wait till you're 18 in America, that bothers me too. It just does. It's not fair.
Yeah, that's an area we haven't even got into before, really.
I'll get into it all day. We can do it another time.
Yeah, we will. We're going to have to.
I think the money thing is another thing, because, I mean, they could sign guys for millions of dollars, but they can suck for 5 years, but they got to keep them around because they have so much money and invested in them, right? Mm-hmm. So, you know, it's tough. There's got to be kind of like a right timing. Got to get a little lucky, and they got to have a need, right? Someone's got to get hurt or something's got to happen. So it's tough, man. And it's hard to give it up when you're still pitching well. So
yeah,
or hitting well.
But with these guys too, they have injuries. Mm-hmm. I mean, Tommy John, 2 ACLs, and did you have Tommy John? You had elbows in high school.
Yeah, it's on my record, but I didn't have a surgery or anything.
Yeah, so I mean, that's another thing that affiliated takes more serious than independent ball too, because like I said, they could release them any day of the week. I mean, you can't.
They're not invested.
Yeah, so I mean, that's I think what knocked. I know it knocked you for sure. But Dom, I think with the technology I think ACL they're more worried about than how good Tommy John is nowadays. But I think it's still give him a freaking opportunity. That's all I am. I think, I think just give him an opportunity. That's why I hated that the rounds went lower. But I thought it was good. But then once guys start drafting, like give these senior guys a chance. That's all I asked for.
We'll see what they do. I don't know what the draft's gonna be like this year. Did they already announce that? No, same 5.
No, let's not even talk about. I don't even like talking about baseball nowadays because the 2021 class, the 2020 class, the 2022, the 2023, they're all screwed. I mean, we're lucky not to be playing college baseball right now because everybody's screwed. I love hearing uncommitted COVID sophomore. Oh, so you're a 3-year sophomore?
That's not a thing, is it?
Yes.
You're joking me.
COVID freshmen, yeah.
Yeah.
See?
COVID senior.
It's a thing now. People say that because he's like
not a redshirt, but it's all right.
Yeah, because you're getting your year back or 2.
I haven't seen that yet.
Yeah.
That's kind of weird. It's kind of weird. I'm not gonna lie.
It is.
Real quick, couple things. What would you tell a kid, if they're listening, like you posted something on JUCO a couple weeks ago on signing day.
Yeah.
What would your advice to be to a junior high kid
or
high school kid? What would you say to them?
Well, I'd say sometimes you just got to swallow your pride. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Don't worry about who's signing where, because ultimately that really does not matter. You go be a JUCO dog. You get picked up. I promise you, D1s like JUCO guys. They bring in JUCO guys to come play right away. That's what they do. And so I would just say just swallow your pride, grind out JUCO, and get seen there. I mean, it's the path's there. It's ultimately up to you. You got to put in the work. Yeah, it's not easy. It's not glamorous, but you just got to embrace the grind and just fall in love with it. And that's what I did. I wasn't guaranteed to go anywhere after junior college, but I put in the work. I did what I was supposed to do, did my schooling, and then just soared from there. And so that's what I tell kids is just like, you just got to swallow your pride and just be okay going there if there's nothing else lined up.
Because you don't get the posts you're committed to on Twitter.
That's ridiculous. I mean, yeah, I don't know about all these kids getting like, I don't even know what they say. Like there's like 10 different commitments from schools, but yeah, I mean, I just put all that stuff aside. Don't worry about that. And I would rather go to a junior college than a lower tier D1 or D2, but that's just me. So that's what I would say.
I like that. Swallow your pride. Dom?
Yeah, man. I mean, not even talking about the junior college and Division I stuff. It's just like even the young kids. Obviously, everyone wants to make it to the big leagues. The odds of that, very slim. I mean, I don't even know what the odds of that is. It's below 1% or something, I think so, right?
Yeah. It's less than 1.
And it's like, you got to just play the game because you love it, man. It's like, for me, if I never make it to the big leagues or whatever, I mean, I've come across some good coaches that are going to change my life or have changed my life, right? Fortunate enough to do that. Even as a pitcher, I never really had a pitching instructor or went to private pitching lessons when I was a kid. I don't know necessarily why. I had good pitching coaches along my journey. High school, John Gross, Eric Solberg at Fresno City, and Steve Rousey. I didn't really think I needed anything more than that. But it's tough for, kids that come from smaller schools or smaller towns that are less fortunate. And so I have the privilege to work with some of them and kind of teach them the way that I've kind of, I guess, grown up. I usually tell them, like, you're going to have tons of coaches over your careers, whether it be school ball, travel ball, whatever. And they're all going to tell you different things, right? Everyone has their own philosophy. Obviously, I tell them they got to listen to them, all right? Or else they're probably not going to play, right? You got to listen to your coach. But for me, I've just picked things over the years from coaches that I've liked, and I've kind of made it my own and part of my own, like, routine, I guess. So
Soak it all in.
Yep, soak it all in.
Be coachable, in other words.
Of course, yeah, you have to be, man. And, it's like I mentioned earlier, today's game, everyone wants theirs. Like, they just need to go out and show out and hit bombs or throw 95, and it's like, for me, it's like I'm fortunate to have won conference championships from all the schools I played at, high school, junior college, Fresno State, and I live with that. I'm never going to forget it. You know what I mean? Never going to forget my teammates. And it's just something I can always have.
No, I love it. It's and again, I just want these younger guys that have just good influence and hear different perspectives. We've had a numerous amount of guests that have gone different routes, different ways, and they're not all the same, but it all comes down to working hard, getting it done in the classroom, and being coachable, respecting your coaches, and loving the game, grinding, like you said, Funky. The
baseball will humble you.
Yeah, and it'll reward you.
Yeah.
When you do it the right way.
Like Dom said, the chances of you making it to the big leagues, very slim. For me, going to Oklahoma State and playing 2 years, that's my big leagues.
Yeah.
That was good enough for me, and I'm very humbled by that because of the journey I went through to get there. That's why I say that's like, people always ask me, how come you didn't get drafted? Why didn't you get drafted? It's like, dude, I mean, I made it to my big leagues. I was so blessed to be able to do that. And that was just an amazing experience for me.
Well, I mean, you guys played, I think Ware gave the statistic, of a small percentage of guys that even go on to play Division I.
Or even, sometimes high school team, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of kids, I'm probably the majority. After high school, that was it. Mm-hmm. So, nobody could ever knock it. Nobody should ever knock it. They're just a hater if they do.
Before even indie ball, right? How many players?
Exactly. No, exactly.
Yeah. Right? I mean, I remember last year when he came and signed with us at the Gateway Grizzlies. Gateway Grizzlies had a tryout with like 80 kids at our field, and we're like, okay, well, who's? Maybe have a chance of having one spot on the team, And it's like, it's crazy.
And then you show up and there's 4 lockers empty.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It definitely seems much more cutthroat.
Oh, it is.
I appreciate you guys doing this. Seriously.
Yeah, thank you.
I know you guys got things going on. Dom, you're doing lessons
every day.
Where can people get a hold of you and
all social media, man. DT Pitching, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. You can see all my information on there as well. So,
you got anything going, Funky?
Just working out. See, I'm not done playing baseball yet. I want to give myself one full season of pro ball, of indie ball, and then I'm okay with hanging it up. But I just want to give myself one more shot, just like a full season. I haven't had a full season yet, so.
Hey, if your body says you can do it, man, give it a go.
Yeah, I feel good. I've been in the gym, so we'll see what happens. And if I don't get a shot, then I'm okay with that, But at least I say I tried, So that's where I'm at.
Well, but I hope it works out, man.
Thank
good
you.
luck to you
Thank
on the
you.
journey. It's not over.
You only play so long, man.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Off topic, we'll end with this. You got AFC and NFC championship games this weekend. You guys follow football pretty close?
A little bit. More basketball, but yeah. Football.
More basketball, really? We need to get Woody and Lappin in here.
Pitchers, man.
You're right.
No, Lapp's not a pitcher. Dang it.
You got Buffalo, and this will publish Monday, so we're going to pick prior to the games. So
there's these games are this weekend.
Yeah,
right?
they're this weekend. Yeah.
So we're trying to pick a winner.
We're going to pick a winner early. We'll find out Monday, obviously. But AFC's got Buffalo and Kansas City, and the NFC is Tampa Bay and Green Bay. Go. Buffalo, KC.
I know. I'm gonna go Buffalo because I don't know if Mahomes is playing, and I'm going Green Bay.
He just got cleared today.
KC, Green Bay.
Okay, KC, Green Bay. Dom?
Buffalo, man. Josh Allen, hometown kid or Fireball nearby. I'm going to have to go with him. Plus, I'm a Niners fan, so the Chiefs can, and then I'd say Packers, Devontae Adams. I like the hometown kid, so.
I don't see the Bills beating Patrick Mahomes in KC, so I'm going to have to go KC. And Rodgers in Green Bay, and if there's supposed to be snow on Sunday, no shot the Bucks can hang with that. So Green Bay.
I kind of like that breakdown right there.
You know?
I'm going to roll with that. I'm going Buffalo, even with Mahomes.
And it's nothing against Josh Allen. It's just
No, of course not.
Mahomes is just
you can't beat
different.
Patrick Mahomes.
I'm going to go out there and say I believe that Josh Allen can.
They got to put up 50.
And they're pretty good, man.
I know they're good, but I'm
and
just
their
saying,
defense is pretty good too.
I'm not denying
Cold
that.
weather. The weather is not a concern.
But if there's time left on the clock and Patrick Mahomes has the ball,
You're in trouble.
You're scoring. If he stays healthy, KC's gonna win.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go Buffalo. And I am a fan of Tom Brady. I gotta go Devontae in Green Bay. So, having said that, who's gonna win the Super Bowl then?
I'm just going with Aaron Rodgers. I know Devontae's from here, but let's be honest. The Green Bay Packers drafted a first-round quarterback to pretty much say, Aaron Rodgers, your time's coming. And he pretty much said, F you, I'm having the best season in my entire career. So I'm pulling for Aaron Rodgers.
You're going to pick the Packers to win the Super Bowl?
Sure, why not?
Okay. You got to make a Super Bowl pick. You're on record, too,
even though I said nobody could beat Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers. I did. So I'm contradicting myself. But Aaron Rodgers is,
all right. You want to make a Super Bowl?
Well, I had Buffalo and the Packers, but it's tough, man. Because I think if it came down to that, probably the Packers would win it.
Where's the Super Bowl being played? Do we know? I don't even know.
I don't know. Is it Texas or New
Tampa,
Orleans, or is it in Tampa?
I think it's in Tampa.
Okay. So weather
won't
be an issue. Yeah.
Is Brady home field advantage or what?
No, he doesn't have Brady in it though.
No.
Who are you rolling for Super Bowl though?
I want the Bills, but I think the Packers are gonna pull it off.
Okay, so you're going Packers. I'm gonna go Buffalo.
Oh, you think the Packers are gonna beat Mahomes too?
Yeah, I don't see Casey going back-to-back Super Bowls. Nah.
I'm just gonna roll with the Buffalo train.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, either way, this is.
If anybody knows Josh Allen, tell him
games.
that I'm rolling with the Buffalo train.
Yeah.
Tom Brady always finds a way, man. You never know.
I know.
That's true too.
Yeah, I mean, shoot.
Wasn't that something? Did anybody see how his with Drew Brees after the game?
Yeah, I saw that.
And he threw his kid a touchdown.
Oh yeah, hanging out. Yeah, it was a dime too. Yeah. Well, we'll see. It's gonna be fun. So we got 3 guys that are taking the Packers for the whole thing. Yes.
Yeah.
Or correct me if I'm wrong. All right, and then I'll go. All right. I'll be tweeting at you guys. Then.
All right.
Something tells me we're all going to be wrong. So
Yeah.
I mean, if you watched our picks during the baseball playoffs,
Well, then it's gonna be KC.
yeah, Casey will win it all. Thank you guys again. I appreciate you doing this. I hope everybody can, get this to, if your coach, get it to your players. Travel ball coaches, get it to your players. Parents, get it to your kids. I definitely think this is perfect for younger guys to hear experiences from, 3 different guys that played at a high level and had to do it the hard way and work hard to get there. So, again, thanks you guys for doing this. I want to thank Bland Company again for their sponsorship. That's episode 93.
Your birthday?
Oh, yeah, that doesn't matter.
Jake just turned 38 yesterday.
38.
On the 21st.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody. There was a lot of love out there. So
we got more likes on the birthday post. It's just funny how people work out there with their Twitter.
Yeah. No, I appreciate it. I do. I appreciate all the love from everybody. It meant a lot. So just getting older. Another year older. Again, thank you everybody for listening. That's episode 93 of the Hit or Die podcast.
Hit or Die.